You know what it's time for, everybody. In today's episode of Ask Homesteady, we're going to dissect what happened with our most recent goat birth, see if we did anything wrong, if we did anything right, and we're going to talk about that in today's episode of Homesteady. Ask Homesteady. Ask Homesteady. This is the weekly show that we do where we answer your questions that you've left here on our channel. If you want to get a question answered today, today's done. There's no chance.
Hashtag Ask Homesteady in the comments. We tell you hashtag Ask Homesteady so we can find it. Because comments sometimes disappear on YouTube. It's really hard to find them again. But if you hashtag it Ask Homesteady, we'll always be able to find them.
As you can see, we have a sleeping baby, so we're not going to be walking around today. We're going to sit and tackle these questions, but you'll see plenty of goat babies. This week we released the video showing our goat Gizmo kidding.
What did you have? Let's clean them up, honey. I'm gonna check and see.
Looks like she might.
And it was quite an event.
It was quite an event.
It was quite an event, and the video inspired lots of questions, some constructive criticism, and we figured we would just focus on those questions for today's Ask Homesteady. And let me lead by saying this is kind of part of the deal when you do a YouTube channel. People are going to give you advice, criticism, ask you questions. We never mind, and we don't take any offense. We just like to kind of explain the way we do things here for our viewers. So, yeah.
There's one open, isn't there?
Let's dive in. The first question for today's Ask Homesteady was asked by superfan Candace.
Candace said, did you check that Gizmo's milk came in? I'm sure you did. Not criticizing, just curious. Her bag looks a little small to me. Also, do you think the crowd of people and chaos may have contributed to her not bonding?
So we're going to break that one up a little bit, and before we dive into even answering your question, Candace, we wanted to give everybody the full story, what you didn't see in the video.
Right, a little more insight behind the video. Oftentimes when we produce a video, it's 8 minutes long, it's kind of just capturing the highlights of what happened.
So what you didn't learn in that goat video, the goat birth video, was really the context of that birth. First off, we were not expecting kids that day.
No, she was about a week away from kidding, but that's the time I start checking anyways, checking ligaments, checking the bag, making sure nothing too imminent is happening. We had kept one stall clean, the kidding stall, in preparation. So we had started our birth preparations.
So we were just at the very beginning stage of getting ready for what turned out to be a very early kidding.
I checked her at noon that day, checked her ligaments, checked her udder. Nothing was developing. There was no signs that she was about to give birth.
We, as you saw in the video, had guests over. Now those guests actually are guests who've been staying on the farm in our guest space for an extended period of time. And while they've stayed here, they've actually stopped in and seen the goats every day. They really like the farm.
They've bonded with the goats. The goats like them, they like the goats.
And so Mike, the husband, he was actually checking because he knew the goat births were coming.
And he was the one that noticed as they were coming over for dinner that Gizmo wasn't outside with everybody else. She was in the stall.
Joking. Every single time you go, but cried wolf moment.
Yeah. The little boy cried. Yeah.
So those are good farm guests to have. Ones who are paying attention to the animals. Nice hands to have on the farm.
We had dinner together. Ate dinner, went outside with the kids a little bit. A couple hours passed by from when we had last seen Gizmo.
Mike came back to the apartment, noticed again that Gizmo was still inside and came into the barn. Then he ran up to the house and said, "Hey guys, your goat had babies." Like, what?
And that's where the video picks up as this chaotic moment where we're in the middle of having guests over for dinner and suddenly we have to come see what's going on.
Good thing Mike's paying attention.
Let's go.
We don't know how long he's been having babies? Is she in the middle of a birth? We had no idea what was going on. So we come running out and it was chaotic.
Yes, because she's a first-time freshener, we don't know how she's going to do kidding. We don't know how she's going to do with the kids. That is why we kind of all raced back here to find out what was going on. All right, feed the girl. Oh, she got two!
Oh my goodness!
What did you have? Let's clean them up, honey.
Those first few minutes that you see in that video, it's the bulk of what you see in the video we released. Us running to the back and then quickly organizing everything. Mister, there's chaos everywhere. Let's talk about chaos.
Chaos.
I'm gonna read a couple comments that we got. This is Hyder Enterprises says that was hard to watch. First time mama goat is already freaked out from this weird thing she's never experienced before, kidding. And then the stress and energy level was ramped up exponentially by all the noise and moving around from human kids and adults. Gizmo was thrown into confusion from all the rambunctious activity and wasn't given a chance to clean her own kids. It's no wonder she was kicking the kids off from milking. At most, there should have been only one, maybe two adults checking in on her. She wasn't given a chance to have her natural instincts kick in to bond with her babies. I get it. A new baby is exciting. Having a new baby is exciting. Having children in attendance of an animal birthing is a teaching opportunity. But not in this chaos of noise and activity while Gizmo is already stressed out. If you want a good mama taking care of her newborns, let her do so in a less stressful environment. Leave the cleaning to her. That's where she's learning the scent of her babies. Then leave her with her kids in the stall for a few days to allow the new bond to strengthen. No petting the babies, just go in and check on them, feed and water. And a lot of people agreed that this was far too chaotic of a scene for a birthing animal. We should have had less people, less noise. We shouldn't have allowed all that chaos to happen.
Of course. Ideally, that's what we wanted too. That's always our goal when our animals are giving birth. We are able to accomplish that with other goats that we've had kid, as well as our cow. We were able to keep a calm, low energy kind of birth experience.
There it is, it's breathing, folks.
It's alive.
It's breathing.
Good girl, Ladybug. Should I clear its mouth? In this case, as sometimes happens with birth, I'm speaking from experience, your best laid plans don't happen.
She had a baby in the van. For those of you who don't know what we're talking about, we've had 5 children, human children, and one was born in a van. That was chaotic too.
That was chaotic. We came out, we saw Gizmo kind of walking around the stall. She wasn't attending to her babies at all. So they were laying in the corner, they were wet and they were cold. In that moment, what we had to do was take them out of the chaos of all the other goats in the stall so nobody got stepped on, nobody got hurt accidentally. We grabbed the kids, we took them to the kidding stall that we had prepared. We moved Gizmo into the kidding stall. It was chaos.
And that's what a lot of the video is, because we come back with the camera and, oh look, we need to fix this here. I said, Mike, hold the camera. And then we have 5 children, so they come back to the barn with us. So there's 5 kids, there's me and my wife, our guests were there. It was nice they were able to help out with the kids and the camera. What you didn't see is that time, once that kids got taken away, about 10 minutes into this whole setup, everybody left the barn.
Are you hungry? Are you hungry?
I wonder what she's still got in her.
After birth.
Yeah, just after birth.
Should be.
And I do have footage of us, just me and Kay, for about an hour with Gizmo and the babies. So yes, ideally you have a nice calm birth in a quiet stall. We had cleaned the stall out that day so that we could move her to the birthing stall. You'll see in an upcoming video another birth that happens where we were able to have that happen in a quiet, calm stall. Tammy had asked if this was our first birth because of the chaos. It looked like someone who hadn't been through it before, but it was the first one that happened so early from when we were expecting, and once in a while you're caught off guard by a really early birth and there's some chaos. And that's, I mean, whether we're talking about animals, human births, birth can happen when you least expect it.
Yeah.
But she also mentioned, along with many other people, just doing what's natural. Just step out of the picture, let the goat do what's natural. Remove yourself from the equation. Why didn't we just let Gizmo do what was natural in a calm, quiet setting? So we already talked about calm, quiet. Why didn't we just let her do what was natural?
She had a chance to do what was natural. She had the kids. There was some time where we didn't know about it, so she was just here in the stall with the kids, her and the babies, and she wasn't, just those natural instincts weren't kicking in, that maternal instinct. It's not uncommon for a first-time freshener. She had them, it was probably at least an hour when Mike noticed she was in the stall. We had dinner and then he saw the babies. She had time to be licking them, to be drying them off. It didn't happen. It's not unusual for a first-time freshener to not know what to do when she has babies. Happens with cows, happens with goats, dogs, and cats even. That's why we really wanted to be close with both of our goats kidding this year. That's why we knew when they were bred and we're keeping an eye on them. Just didn't expect it to go this early.
I wanted to read a quote. Many of you may know Fiasco Farm. I will have a link below for Fiasco Farm. Fiasco Farm is a great source for knowledge about goats and a good source for what to expect with kidding. And they, in their article all about this birthing, kidding experience, they talk about this bonding. And I just wanted to read a quote. She says, many times first timers have no idea what is going on. They have no idea that they were pregnant or that the pains they were experiencing were anything more than a really difficult poop. Instinct guides them and tells them what to do, but sometimes their instinct does not quite kick in. They may lay looking off into space thinking, goodness, that hurt, and not even notice that there is a little baby that now needs cleaning off. This is why you need to get the kid in front of the mom ASAP. If you let nature take its course, the kid could die before the mother realizes it is her baby and she should clean it. This is the main reason we try to be present at every birth. So this whole let nature take its course, sometimes it works. We have had many goat births where nature took its course and the mamas did great. But in this particular instance, Gizmo had plenty of time to go through this. In this circumstance, the kids that we found were cold. They had already come out and had enough time to cool down without getting the warmth of mama. They hadn't been cleaned off, they hadn't been licked. And again, in Gizmo's defense, she's a first timer.
Not only did they need to be warmed up, a cold kid is not a kid who's going to try standing, not going to try to nurse. We needed to get them warmed up, but we also needed to get that first milk, the colostrum, into them. It's very, very important for the kids to have colostrum.
This is a good article, I'll have a link below, from Oklahoma State University, talking about the nutrition of newborn kids. Colostrum is the first milk produced after the birthing process.
There you go.
Colostrum contains a high content of immunoglobulins, antibodies, vitamin A, minerals, fat, and other sources of energy. Antibodies are present that help the goat kid fight off disease. The ability of kids to resist disease is greatly affected by the timing of colostrum intake and the quantity and quality of the colostrum ingested. Reports from cattle indicate that left alone, 25% of the young do not nurse within 8 hours, and 10 to 25% do not get sufficient amounts of colostrum. Colostrum should be ingested or bottle fed in case of weak kids as soon as kids have a sucking reflex. In cases of extremely weak kids, they should be tube fed. The producer must be certain all newborn kids get colostrum soon after birth, within the first hour after birth, and certainly within the first 6 hours, because the percentage of antibodies found in colostrum decreases rapidly afterward.
Yeah, I didn't tell you I was ready to bottle feed them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were trying to suck though. They still had a good suck reflex, so that's why we kept working with Gizmo to help her get used to them and let them eat.
And remember, we have no idea how long they were in the world without eating colostrum because we didn't know when they were actually born.
Yeah.
So it could have been that first hour, it could have been 2 hours.
It wasn't an emergency, but we did need to act quickly to get those babies eating. So it wasn't something we could just kind of hang back and watch as Gizmo figured it out, kicked them off. we needed them to get that colostrum in their bellies.
The last couple questions, Candace had asked, did we check Gizmo's bag because it looked kind of small. Gizmo's a first-time freshener and she's younger. She has a smaller bag, but we did check it and we have been keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, we checked it, and it's good to check it to make sure there's nothing blocking the milk from coming out. So we made sure we did that just to make sure she had milk in there, and so we knew she did.
This was a funny question, and I totally understand why this was asked. What happened to the third kid? I thought this sounds like a conspiracy theory. What about the third kid? So there's a shot where you see the two, and it looks like Gizmo's bearing down to have another.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, totally.
What did you have? Let's clean them up, honey. I'm gonna check and see.
Looks like she might be. All right, let's take Lacey. Even in the video, you hear me say something like, "Oh, it looks like she might be having a third." There was no third kid.
Maybe she was peeing.
Or she was working on passing
The placenta, the afterbirth, yeah.
and stuff like that. So, yeah, there was no
Only
third
two.
kid. Only two kids. All in all, you know, we never mind. Part of doing YouTube is you get criticism, you get people asking questions. We don't mind it. We took no offense from any of these. Everyone was very nice about their criticism and their comments. Overall, just a reminder, you can only see by the nature of the beast what the camera catches. And that's why we did this, was to kind of fill in the gaps so you know what you saw, but also the whole entire what happened that day. Just thought we'd give a little more explanation. The good news is it eventually everything took.
Fortunately, both of our goats are very friendly with people. So they're bottle babies, which means they love people. If they were wild goats, kind of range goats, range cows, that sort of thing, that is something you want to keep more distance from. Just because that fight or flight will kind of kick in. But fortunately for us, that's not how the goats react to us. They see us as fun, playtime, and the bringers of food. So yeah. Gizmo wasn't stressed out by us being there.
We would not have anybody around Ladybug.
No.
And when we've had Ladybug's birth.
Because strangers make her nervous. So if we had guests here and Ladybug was giving birth, it's not something that would be we'd say, we'd ask our guests to give her a little space.
Yeah. With Ladybug's birth, you can watch the video of that. Click on that link. You'll notice it's quiet, it's calm, it's everything you want in a birth. But it's because we had time and it came when we expected.
Yeah, and there was no. Yeah, I was even there with her when she gave birth to Luna, and I grabbed Luna and I put her in front of Ladybug, just a little bit of assistance.
Yeah, because as we talk about a lot, the natural myth.
It's not nature we're dealing with.
Agriculture is not nature. Agriculture, these animals have been bred for much different reasons than the wild breeds animals. Good mothering is something that is absolutely needed for survival in the wild, and so by nature, wild animals are either good mothers or their line dies. Mothers? Wild animals are either good mothers or their young die and they don't carry on that line. But agriculture, that's not the number one priority for all breeders.
Yeah, and once again, our girls are first-time fresheners this year. So this isn't all right, get rid of Gizmo because she wasn't a good mother. This is, not. She's learned, and we'll see how she does next year.
And the good news is she's picking up on it.
she's still She still doesn't want them to nurse all the time. You know, she wants her space as a mother.
Yeah, she's not a helicopter goat.
No, she lets
But-
them eat and then she wants them to go away.
We haven't had to bottle feed. She's been feeding the babies,
Yeah.
and they're doing really well. They're jumping
great.
around, running around outside. And you'll see in next week's videos, more kidding. And as usual, with birth, it doesn't exactly go the perfect, natural, ideal way. And that's okay, because that's birth.
Because that's birth.
Talking to people at a baby in a van. If you want to get a question answered on Ask Homesteady, hashtag it Ask Homesteady, and that way we can find it.
Thanks for watching, and thank you for your comments. There's always good tips out there for everybody who's watching and for us as well. Hopefully this helps. Everyone who's expecting kids this year to be prepared at least a week early.
More than a week.
More than a week.
That caught us.
Be prepared.
Be prepared 2 weeks. And that's what our takeaway, I think, from this is be ready 2 weeks early. If you like the fact that we answer your questions every week and you want to help support this channel without spending a penny extra, if you're doing Amazon Prime shopping on Prime Day, click on our link, type in amsteady.com before you go to Amazon. It will forward you there, and all your big Prime Day purchases will help support our channel. Or I can't say that. I'm not supposed to say that.
I was wondering, yeah, if you could say that.
We will make a small commission from it. That's what I'm allowed to say.
Okay.
Otherwise, Amazon shuts it down.
We will make a small commission.
We will make a small commission. Facts.
Doesn't cost you any more.
Doesn't cost you a penny. That was good. That was fun. That was fun.
That was fun.